I paid their bills for 15 years without a thank you. The one time I asked for help, Mom laughed. So I canceled everything quietly and watched them beg at my door. Then tried to ruin my job when I said no. Hi, Reddit. Throwaway account because I know at least one of them lurks here, and honestly, I just needed a space to let this out. Maybe even let go of the guilt I've been carrying and finally stop pretending like I'm the problem. I'm 35, female, and you can call me Callie. I've been the one holding everything together in my family since I was just 19 years old. That's when everything changed. My dad died suddenly, and my mom fell apart, emotionally and financially. From that point on, I became the one everyone looked to. My younger sister, Ava, now 32, was always the favorite, the golden child. She was pretty, charming, and knew exactly how to make people feel sorry for her. While she floated between failed startups and messy relationships, I was the one working double shifts just to keep us all above water. I worked 2 jobs while going to college full-time.
I didn't resent it back then.
I loved them. I really thought we were a team. But it didn't take long before my support stopped being appreciated and started being expected. When Mom defaulted on her mortgage, I was the one who paid it. When Ava's car was repossessed, I went and bought her a used one. When the fridge broke, I didn't get a call for advice or help. I got a demand for a new fridge. No one said thank you. No one ever asked how I was managing. It was always, Callie, we need this.
Can you send it?
And every time I did, quietly, without complaint, without praise. Over the years, it built up. $600 every month to Mom's mortgage. Another $200 for Ava's phone and insurance. Random transfers here and there. $100 here, $300 there. I'd send it over Venmo without a word. My friends told me I was too generous, that I was enabling them. But I always said, they're family. And that was supposed to mean something.
It did to me.
Then just last month, I got hit with a dental bill I couldn't ignore. $4,200. I had been avoiding it for years, but the pain had become unbearable. For the first time in a long time, I asked for help. Just $500, just enough to breathe for the month. And when I asked my mom, she actually laughed. She said, "We're not here to serve you, Callie. You're the one with the good job." I just sat there, frozen. That laughter, that dismissiveness, hit me harder than any medical bill ever could. I went back to my apartment, sat at my desk, and opened my budget spreadsheet. 15 years. 15 years of carrying everyone. And the one time I asked for help, they laughed. Something didn't break in me that night. Something became clear. So I quietly canceled every single recurring payment. No drama.
No announcements.
Just canceled the mortgage support. Canceled Ava's phone plan. Canceled the shared Netflix. The Amazon Prime. Everything. Every lifeline they were using that came from me.
Gone.
And I didn't say a word. 3 days later, Mom called me in a panic. My bank account's short. Did you send the money late? And I said calmly, "No, Mom. I'm not sending it anymore." She was silent. "What do you mean?" she asked. I repeated myself. "I'm done." She hung up on me. And then came Ava, crying, puffy-eyed, standing on my porch with a half-zipped overnight bag like she expected me to welcome her with open arms. This was the same sister who once said I was too boring to hang out with. Now she was begging me for a place to stay. "Callie, I don't have anywhere else to go," she said, her voice shaky. "They shut off my service. I can't even call an Uber." I just stood there. I didn't move. I didn't speak. She kept talking. "I know I haven't been great, but you can't just cut us off like that. That's messed up." I let her in. Not because I forgave her. Not because I felt bad. But because I wanted to hear what she'd say when she thought no one else was watching. She dropped onto my couch and started crying. Not her usual fake tears, but real, exhausted, ugly sobs. "Mom's freaking out," she said. She missed her mortgage payment. Thought it was fraud. Called the bank, and when they told her you stopped the auto transfer, she just lost it. She blames me. I stayed silent. Why would you do that, Callie? You're the only one who has it together. And I finally answered. Exactly. I'm the only one who has it together. And not once, not one time, did any of you stop to think what that did to me. She looked at me like she'd been slapped. That's not true. You've never even said thank you, Ava. Not for the car. Not for the phone bills. Not for anything. You just expected it. Like I owed you. She bit her lip. I didn't ask for all that. No, I said. You never had to. That's the point. She was quiet for a long time. Then she whispered, "What am I supposed to do now?" And I said the words I had never let myself say before. I don't know. That's not my job anymore. She slept on my couch that night. Not because I invited her. Because she had nowhere else to go. I didn't sleep. I just lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to the sound of my own freedom creaking into place. The next morning, she left without a word. An hour later, Mom called again. But this time, she didn't ask, she demanded. This is emotional abuse, Callie. You don't get to do this. You made a commitment. You can't just walk away. I laughed.
Bitterly.
You think this is abuse? 15 years of giving and never getting anything back? What would you call that? She hung up again. That week, I started therapy. I told my therapist I felt guilty for finally choosing myself. And she looked at me kindly and said, "That's not guilt. That's detoxing." And she was right, because what came next was worse than silence. The begging turned into bitterness. Ava stopped texting. Mom blocked me on everything except email, which she used to send me a 5-paragraph essay about how I'd abandoned my duties as a daughter. She said I had brought shame to the family. I half expected her to sign it sincerely. Your disappointed mother. But that wasn't the worst part. No, the worst part was the extended family group chat, a place that used to be for baby pictures and bad jokes. That's where the real attack started. My aunt posted, "Some people forget who raised them once they get a big paycheck." My uncle said, "It's wild how selfishness gets dressed up as boundaries nowadays." My cousin, who once borrowed $800 from me and never paid me back, chimed in, "This generation just loves ghosting their own families." No one used my name, but I knew. The timing was too convenient. The words too precise. I could practically hear my mom's voice in those posts. She had been calling everyone, telling her version of events. That I was cold, unstable, that she was worried about me, that they tried to help but I refused. She rewrote history in real time. She erased every birthday I spent alone because Ava forgot. She erased the night I had the flu and asked her to come by, and she said, "Just order soup." She erased every transfer, every sacrifice, every tear. And now that I was gone, I wasn't missed. I was blamed. So I quietly left the group chat.
No hubo.
No warning. Just gone. 2 days later, my godmother, Wen, called me. She's one of the few decent ones. "I'm proud of you," she said. "You don't owe them your life, Callie. You did more than enough. Let them fall for a while. You didn't create the chaos. You just stopped paying for it." And that's when it hit me. She was right. They weren't falling apart because I betrayed them. They were falling apart because I stopped shielding them from their own choices. And they hated that. But then they crossed a line I never saw coming. An email from HR, subject line, "Concern raised regarding conduct." I opened it and my heart dropped. Someone had made an anonymous report to my job, accusing me of being emotionally unstable and misusing prescription medication. It was all lies. I don't even take prescription meds except for the occasional migraine pill. I scheduled a meeting with HR immediately. Thankfully, they know me. I've worked there 9 years. Promotions.
No warnings.
No issues. They believed me. But they still had to log the report. And I knew exactly who did it. No one outside my family knew where I worked. Only 2 people had the motivation to try and ruin me, Mom and Ava. I wasn't even shocked. This was the same family that told me, Therapy is for people who can't handle life when I had panic attacks at 27. The same family that mocked me for not giving Ava $10,000 for her skincare brand. The same family that never said thank you, but always said I was too sensitive. I didn't cry. I took action. I hired a lawyer. Sent a cease and desist, not just to Mom and Ava, but to every family member who had been gossiping. We listed defamation, interference with employment,
Cyberstalking. No threats.
just facts, consequences, legal language. Then I did something I never imagined doing. I wrote my side of the story, with dates, with screenshots, every dollar transferred, every time I saved them. I sent it to every member of that family group chat. Subject line, for the record,
Norantin. No anger.
just calm, cold truth. And then I blocked them. All of them. Emails, numbers,
Socials.
everything. Not from hate.
From peace.
Because the truth is, they didn't destroy me. They exposed themselves. And I finally chose me. It's been 6 months now. HR closed the case as baseless. I got a raise. I moved to a new city. Ava still sends the occasional sorry text. Mom hasn't said a word since the legal letter. I still go to therapy weekly. Not because I'm broken. Because I'm rebuilding, brick by brick, a life where love isn't conditional on sacrifice. So if you're reading this, feeling guilty for setting boundaries with toxic family, let me tell you something I wish someone told me sooner. You're not cruel. You're not selfish. You're freeing yourself. And that's the most powerful thing you'll ever do. Like, share, and subscribe for the next story about choosing yourself, even when it hurts.